bully says there could still be many unregistered dogs out there. And Ben Wallace warns Israel over killing rage in Gaza. It's one of the stories making the round. And Alex Batty wanted return to normal life, says French host. And the Garaway's husband in a very serious condition. I wish her all the best, and we know that the husband had those serious COVID or whatever that was, but we hope that things turn around for him. And DUP rules out pre-Christmas Stormont deal. The party is blocking power sharing in Northern Ireland in protest against post-Brexit trade rules. When they were there, and they were being given money, and the rules were not going their way, they were okay with it. But the moment they didn't have majority, now they said that, well, they were standing against the rules and the policies or the Brexit trade, rules that have been negotiated. Now, see, that's how politicians are. Well. It's either us or there is no way. But whatever it is, lots more will be coming away from here. Let's enjoy this tune. It's a cover version. I heard the bells of Christmas. Covered by Monumental.
One of me sing your back. On long dancing can't come in. So one to come in with us to come on your vanity. Need your baba. Do you see a total year pussy? Fara, Luti, what people from Tojet to Baliluri? Tijo Baba wa.
Aráàlú tó ló ṣèjọba lé lórí, aráàlú dìde fúnra ẹ̀. Kì í ṣe pé mo pàṣẹ àbí mo dédé pàṣẹ àbí mo kàn sọ nǹkan tí ó wá látọkàn mi. Nǹkan tó fa ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni pé ẹ̀yin náà wò láti bí ijọ́ mélòó kan sìn bí ọ̀sẹ̀ bí méjì sìn nípa ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní tó wà ní gbogbo Ìbàràpá. Ẹ wo dókítà wa Dr. Fatai, PhD doctor ọmọ Yorùbá tó kàwé tó gboyè ó wá lọ sí lóyìnbó ní àìníye ọdún ó lọ ṣiṣẹ́ ó wá dé ó kówó dé ó wá lọ lu bàbá ẹ̀ ní gangan ó dá oko àgbàdo ẹ̀gẹ́ iṣu oríṣiríṣi nǹkan soya beans ó dẹ̀ gba ọmọ wa ní gangan bẹ́ẹ̀ náà síbẹ̀ rẹpẹtẹ tó ń bá ṣiṣẹ́ Fúlàní wá jẹ oko ẹ̀ ó wá gbéra láti lọ bá àwọn Fúlàní yìí sọ̀rọ̀ láti lọ bá Sẹ́ríkì Fúlàní pé ẹ wá wo ohun tí àwọn ọmọ yín ṣe lórí oko mi kò yẹ kó rí báyìí lórí ilẹ̀ bàbá mi. Wọ́n dẹ̀ dé lókun bẹ̀ náà wọ́n dẹ̀ sàpà àìmọye èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ tá a lè múrúkọ wọn làwọn Fúlàní yìí bẹ́ lórí tí wọ́n pa wọ́n jí àwọn kan gbé ẹni tó bá gbowó tó kéré lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ wọ́n gba 7 million wọ́n gba 10 million wọ́n gba 11 million lórí ilẹ̀ bàbá wa. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí dùn mí ó bà mí lọ́kàn jẹ́ gan pé tá a bá torí pé tó Ọlọ́run gbà fáwa àwọn ará àwọn ọmọ tí tẹ̀lé wa tó ń ṣààbò fún wa àwọn tí ọ̀lẹ́ni tí ó tẹ̀lé wọn kọ́ ìdí nìyí tó mú mi lọ síbẹ̀ yẹn. Ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ débẹ̀ ohun tí mo lọ fún ni pé láti lọ bá pé sógun tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí lórí ilẹ̀ wa sọ́dá ẹ ti ń gbé pẹ̀lú wa adẹ̀fàyè gbà yín àbáyín jà ṣe nǹkan jàǹbá fún yín. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni mò ń bá Sẹ́ríkì sọ̀rọ̀ làwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ yí ọ̀bọ̀n sí mi. Mo gba ìbọn yẹn lọ́wọ́ ìkan yọ àké àgbà ìkejì tún yọ ìbọn mi ìyẹn ti ẹ̀yìn ẹni bá wọnú fídíò yẹn tó ra fídíò wọn ó yin ìbọn yẹn sí mi kí n tó lóbọn yẹn mọ́ lọ́wọ́. Ẹ bá gbọ́ fídíò yẹn pé ìbọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dáhùn bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n yin ìbọn sí mi ń bẹ̀ kí n tó bájà wá ẹ̀yin pípò yìí tí n bá bájà wá ẹ̀ ní dúró tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ti wá lè wá àtúnṣe sí ọ̀rọ̀ jíjígbé àti pípa àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n wa àtàwọn àǹtí wa àwọn bọ̀dá wa àtàwọn ìyá mi àtàwọn bàbá mi tẹ́ẹ̀dì wọn ò lò kó mọ́ yé o. Ó bẹ́ẹ̀ tàkẹ́ forí lẹ̀ bàbá wa lẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ náà ń fà yìí sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn kí sọ̀rọ̀ ọjà àwọn kan gbé wọ́n fẹ́ pa àwọn mùsùlùmí kílọ̀kàn mi kan mùsùlùmí kílọ̀kàn mi kan kírísítẹ̀n kílọ̀kàn mi kan gbogbo táwọn ń fà yìí mi ò nídìí kankan àlàáfíà Yorùbá ni mò ń wá mi ń fẹ́ kankan bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n dúnkokò tọ́pọ̀ jù wọ́n dúnkokò ntọ́lọ́ táwọn tí ń dúnkokò náà mọ̀ pé àwọn ń dúnkokò mọ́ mi. Ṣùgbọ́n ohun tí ì jẹ́ kí ẹ̀rù bà mí ni pé ó ń bẹ nínú Bíbélì pé tíyẹn bá ń jà fún ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ lórí nǹkan bàbá rẹ̀ tó bá kú síbẹ̀ kò sí nǹkan kan torí pé mo mọ̀ pé gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣe yẹn fúngbà díẹ̀ ni wọ́n dún kòkò.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time down to exactly 5 minutes past 11, and we are giving you everything I need to know when it comes to what is happening from Nigeria this morning. But it is my singular honor. I don't know whether Yomi, your line is what do you call it? Is it still frozen? Your image there? Okay, whilst he works on that, let's take a quick commercial break, and he will be working on that, and then we continue with it. But wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for star, R for radio. This promo code will give you £5 credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. The money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit without it.
Okay, welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And let me see whether I can see my colleague, the Mr. Olami Koike. Yes, I can see him there. And let me say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Well, good morning back to you in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank. Good morning to our presenters and the technical team. Good morning to listeners around the globe, and welcome once again to the first week again as we get into ready for the very busy week. As all knows that it's the Christmas time. I can see the studio as well light up. Shows that the Christmas is around the corner. Good morning to you, Archie, and let me come back to you in the studio.
Yes, morning. Yes, it's been a pleasure once again coming your way, our various listeners from across the globe. And especially those of you who are watching us live from the African continent, especially Nigeria. I know it causes you an arm and a leg, yet you want to do that religiously. And we want to appreciate you all. We say thank you very much, and the best of the season to you as well. Well, how was your weekend? How was the family? What did you do?
Well, the weekend, it's always meant to be for family, but again, with so much other activities that could literally, make you to be engaged. So I think I had a very beautiful weekend. Spent time with the family. Likewise, did check on my mom, which I do almost every weekend. So that we can, look up onto, these are parents that have worked tirelessly in UK. We all have them as grandparents now. So sometimes what they can do when they were, in their 40s and 50s, which we are right now, might not be able to done, when they are now in their 70s. So going around there is kind of, assisting as well. And again, as, one of the most, one that talks about the self-determination, you can imagine how we could be very, very engaged, especially with the launching of the transistor radio of the Yoruba people that can now be used, away from just the social media. So we're going to be talking about that as well in due course.
Okay, listeners, Mr. Olami Koike in London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios. We are bringing you everything that you need to know when it comes to updates from Nigeria. Now let's hit the ground running. Now, we all been thinking that, well, everything seems to be okay when it comes to security. We will come to Samuel Ekpe's statement from the Chief of Defense Staff. Yes, Chief of Defense Staff statement that is making it everything. And so we're thinking that they are looking at security. However, this is the state, the federal capital, and a musician and his band have been kidnapped. How possible is that, Yomi?
Well, I mean, I don't know whether you are shocked. I'm not shocked because let's just remind us, these are coming from what we can say, Professor, Doctor.
It's not about
The late doctor that died. I mean, Igbo spoke about it. Let's listen to T.Y. Danjuma.
Rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
Let's listen to this.
Which is it for you, Dr. Obadiah? Do you think the government is unwilling or unable to protect the people of Southern Kaduna?
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations to you.
That's a very big allegation, Dr. Obadiah. The government is part and parcel of the killers.
Yes.
That's big.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. How will the government just say, oh, it is revenge killing and so on? Then you leave it there. Oh, because it is revenge killing and so on and so forth. The body language of this administration, the body language of the state government shows clearly that they have a hand in the killings. No doubt about it. Because, you see, General Abacha, and people don't give him his due. Do you think you would have tolerated such nonsense? And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities.
And that is where we are right now. We are now at the phase 2 of this, monster that it seems that the previous administration for 8 years was as a failure. You will expect that the new administration with the new faces that you can see there, these are the new faces of the security, system in Nigeria today. But like you said, we have now got members. We don't even know the total numbers of the members that have been kidnapped, but I can confirm the news coming out. They were literally returning back after, an event in Abuja, back to Kogi State. There is now a panic, which has now turned around to become one of the fastest news traveling around the world this morning in Nigeria again. A juju musician, Omoba D. Jumbo B, and his band members have now been kidnapped on Sunday. I'm sure you know what that means. When you get kidnapped, money will be involved. But the question is, when this news breaks, what are the security doing to make sure that they can nip the bud? Because these individuals are still operating in Nigeria, or have they left the border that we've been talking about that is so porous? I come back again to you in the studio. This is quite alarming. Remember that just last week, the UK won do not travel to 21 states in Nigeria out of the 36 states. Remember that Professor Moyo came into the country, he was almost killed. The question again is, like Jega, the former INEC chairman, says on Friday, just as we were over the weekend, Nigeria is now becoming a failing state. But 2021 May, Robert Berg says Nigeria is a failed state. If you can't protect the security of your citizens, you might as well just say you've lost the country entirely. Star Radio UK, I'll return back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Well, listeners, it's quite an interesting one from there, you know. But my issue is that the government seems to be saying all the time, oh, we are doing something. Now we have Niger. That is not in good terms with Nigeria because of the coup that they conducted there. And then so we have to say that normally when there are coup d'etats and stuff like that, the borders are manned by security forces. So let me put it this way, that the Nigerian security forces are manning their borders. Now, when it comes to the eastern part of Nigeria, they are bordering Cameroon. Now, is Cameroon also having they got a strong, a stringent, what do you call it, border position there, or are they that porous that these insurgents and people are able to run in and out of the country, bringing arms and doing everything like that? If it's not the local military or police who are giving whatever arms and stuff to them, Yomi?
Well, I mean, these terrorists, have been able to infiltrate, the military as much as we can think of. Remember that, some of them have been recruited as well, with so much evidence as well. We are talking about 1,600 thereabout has been, given pardon. And you wonder where they are because, we don't have a system in place in Nigeria to monitor their activities. In terms of, the influx of weapons coming into the country, we've talked about it. Nigeria border is so porous that even the airport last week in Benin was completely shut out of electricity. And you might wonder, for 8 hours, there was no electricity and people were flying through, the aircraft. And you can tell that it seems that this government of President Bola Tinubu is already losing the battle between the security, the system, and the question is, the new budget that has been put in place, we're talking about huge amount of money that have been allocated for security. The question then is, how do we resolve the insecurity in the country as we speak? I was reading some of the comments, that popped up as well, because you can tell that when things happen like this, you then read more people have been affected. But because this individual is probably maybe well known because of his, work that he does, he's a musician. What about those that have been kidnapped that some of us probably don't even know about? As I was picking up a comment from one of the, comment that I was reading this morning, somebody said that sometime maybe you should fly by the air, which you might think that would be safe. But Mr. Archie, even if you travel by the plane, you are still likely to be kidnapped. And because somebody said that his sister traveled via the plane, but he had to then go on the, on the Uber for 30 minutes, I believe in Port Harcourt. I'm going to get the exact location. And I've got it here. A friend of mine flew from Abuja to Enugu, booked a cab to Insuka, which was just about 30 minutes drive away. She got kidnapped. So my flight is not the solution. The country is cast. And this is coming from Alex_Abruz on the IG this morning.
Well, it is sad. It is sad because when you fly on you use a plane to get to your destination, you still have to get out of the airport and get to whatever town or village or wherever you are going to. And therefore, you be driving. And look at what is happening to these people. And as Yomi is saying, it's because they are call it popular. That is why we are. What about the majority of people who have been kidnapped daily? Where are they even getting the monies from with their families? What are they selling to get all that? The government said that they are working on that. It will come again. But interestingly, let's go to what the Chief of Defense Staff is saying. Because at times when you cannot actually carry your own burden, you try to now look at other things and then blame them that, hey, you are the ones causing trouble for us. But the Chief of Defense Staff is saying that, that is General Christopher Musa has claimed that some individuals and countries were sponsoring Simon Ekpa, a Biafran agitator in Finland, to destabilize the country. Has he tried to destabilize the country? We talked about the fact that there's a need for them to have a dialogue with them. It's not happening. And what do you think? Maybe all that you understand is when people are now agitating and fighting, and then you understand it. Yomi, what is happening?
Well, what is happening is that, the Chief of Defense Staff, they are now getting more concerned because it looks like there's more firepower between both sides. And like we said, there must be room for negotiation and peace in everything in life. The reason why Simon Ekpa, the PM of the Biafra government in exile, is saying that until, Nnamdi Kanu is released, we will continue to defend ourselves against the Islamic State. You know, he continued to, emphasize on that. And Nigeria is an Islamic state, and they are Christians, and they will not accept, being killed by the same individuals that we see where these, Omoba, has been kidnapped with his band crew as well. So the chief of defense staff says that, it looks like some of us are encouraging, somebody like Simon Ekpa. But the question is, what is Simon Ekpa asking for? And what are the Biafrans asking for? The chief of defense staff went further to say that it seems that there are countries, individuals that are sponsoring Simon Ekpa, the Biafran, campaigner and the PM government in exile that is based in Finland to destabilize the country. The CD spoke about this on Friday after we left the show, also urging the collaborator to desist as the military would not relax in its effort to ensure that there's enough peace that will return to the Southeast. And again this morning, it seems that the key to Southeast is still in the hands of the Biafra government in exile, as they've locked it again this morning. Remember that they've locked the state, from the 15th up to 19th. Then it opens up again, tomorrow. Somebody, while I was listening to Simon yesterday, somebody says that it seems that some particular states are not abiding by the sit at home. And Simon said maybe the individual can check on that this morning. The individual said, well, I dare not, because I would not want to be in the situation room.
Well, better. But I hope that they are not going on another path of trying to, capture him and throw him into their country as they did Nnamdi Kanu.
Well, it will be very difficult because, when you look at Finland also have an history on how they were able to attain their independence. And I think also we got to remember that Simon Ekpa is also a member of a political party in Finland. He's also a lawyer. So, he's not just someone that lives in Finland. He's also part of the military reservists of Finland. So you can tell that, it's for the Nigerian government to kidnap him like they did with Nnamdi Kanu. Well, it probably take a bit of time. But like they said, even if he says, and I quote this, if he gets kidnapped, there's still more numbers of Simon Ekpa that will rise up and do the same thing.
Of course. But the chief of defense staff making this statement didn't make any we call it the carrot and the cane approach. So that let's meet these people, or we will talk to their leadership.
Well, he talked about it. So the military solution is only 30%. 70%, according to him, will be good governance, equality, fairness, and justice. Anywhere you apply these, you will see that you have good community. The question then is, would this stop, the campaign for the Biafra, or would this also stop as it applies to the Yorubas as well? Musa says that the porous borders, we talked about this so many times. He also mentioned the porous border and the unmanned forest had literally also contribute to the challenges faced by the military. He was talking about this on Friday. Under his belt, someone has now been kidnapped, not just one, not just two, and you can determine that means that more money for the same terrorists, and that gives them more fire weapon, to kill innocent people. And the reason why Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, set up the Eastern Security Network is to say that we will not sit back. As Tiwa Danjuma said, as you read in that clip, the military are compromised. You must defend yourself. And that is the reason why the ESN has been set up. And continuously they keep saying that the ESN is set up to destabilize the Fulani terrorists in their region, just as we saw that Chief Sunday Igboho in 2021 gave a 7-day ultimatum after the influx of killings that went on in Igogon. We have a new government. It is the same political party, but it seems that even people are now saying that Buhari is much better in government than current present administration. You can see that Nigerians are already saying that Tinubu has failed in the last 6 months being in government.
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It's Olani Kokin on Northland Studios. I'm actually here in the South Studios, and we'll bring you everything that you need to know when it comes to Nigeria. Now, we talk about Japa. We talk about the fact that people are seeing. If you go to the farm and your farm is being destroyed and everything that is going on there, and you see that you are not able to make ends meet, the only way out is to fly out of the country, whether by the right means or whatever means that you think you can better your life, people do that. Now, there are two stories. Now, one with a picture in the background, that is Professor Uchegbu, who is a nanoscience scientist at the University College of London, who the president is congratulating this month. But it's the same president who his certificate for education was found wanting. Well, he managed to put it, and who was saying that was given a bad name for Nigeria. But as we know, I say it all the time. You go to the NHS, you go to most places, you see the Africans, especially the Nigerians, doing very, very well there. And this is a typical example of that. Before I make you say anything, let me say congratulations to her for her outstanding work that she's done. For at least we have somebody to say that look at her, she's done us proud. Yomi.
Well, you're quite right. We have the brains, but it's unfortunate that as much as we want to make sure that these brains are also helping, the world at large, but we also need them in Nigeria so that they can contribute, to the development and the progress, especially in the healthcare sector. And this morning, as the President Bola Tinubu is sending a congratulatory message, to Professor Uchegbu, a renowned for our innovative work in the nanoparticle drug delivery. She's currently the professor of pharmaceutical of nanoscience at the University College here in London. And like I said, we have them in many, as you mentioned as well. We all know that these individuals are working tirelessly to keep the NHS in America, in Cuba, in Brazil, in Canada. There are so many of them. But why are we talking about Professor this morning? She's a Nigerian-born professor of pharmaceutical nanoscience, a top-flight researcher. Ijeoma Uchegbu has been elected as the president of the Wolfson College, one of the 31 colleges of the University of the Cambridge. Professor renowned for her work, like we talked about. But meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu says congratulatory message to her for this election, which some might say, at least it wasn't like the Nigerian one that was rigged, because many Nigerians are still very bitter that they left. The last election was rigged, but we know that here in UK, you don't rig the election. So in a statement that was issued by Ajuri Ngelale, celebrate the outstanding accomplishment, commended the professor for being an excellent ambassador for the country for a relentless effort to advance the frontiers of pharmaceutical science.
Well, listeners, once again, we say congratulations to Professor Uchegbu for her renowned work in pharmaceutical nanoscience at the University College of London, UCL. Congratulations to her. Now, let's come to the others who have tried to japa but ended up not landing in the UK or Italy or Europe as they wanted to, and have lost their lives in this shipwreck that has taken place around the coast of Libya.
Well, for every death, we feel very pained, regardless of whether this happened is as a motor accident. There's been 2 fatal accidents in Lagos this morning. I'll be talking about that as well. But it seems that just as, Professor Adebanji Akintoye has warned that many Nigerians, the Yorubas, the rest are trying to get to Europe, and sometimes their family members might not know that they've passed on. About 69 people have now been confirmed dead, from trying to get to Libya or trying to get to, the Europe, as we say. But unfortunately, they've been now counted as many of those that have been affected, this morning. So like I said, what can be done for Japa? I don't see Japa going down anytime soon. Many people will still try to Japa, even if you say that the road is bad. They will tell you that, the current situation in the country, is making that reason for them to want to Japa. And you can tell because, let me link that to, another story. As we speak this morning, Nigeria inflation remained in double digit, 28.20% as of November. This is coming from the National Bureau of Statistics. It also says that the food inflation has gone to 32.8. Many are struggling to have the 3 square meal And as we say, what is Bola Tinubu going to do quickly to stabilize the inflation? We know that inflation is around the world, but the Nigeria is getting a little bit, concerned. As we speak this morning, the dollar is just way over 1,000 to naira, while the pound sterling is now 1,510 naira as at yesterday to a pound.
Well, listeners, it's quite an interesting one. Shamsuddin, let me say good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, very well and had a very good weekend. Listeners, Star Radio UK, Mr. Olaibi Koikin and North London Studios, I'm actually here in the South Studios, and as many of you on the various platforms watching us, we want to salute each and every one of you, and we say thank you very much for your patronage. Now, let's talk about the inflation that has happened in Nigeria. Well, they said that it's gone up by 28.20% in November. Yomi, how do you think that is impacting Nigerians as a whole?
It's having a big toll, and I got to be honest with you, Mr. Archie. I mean, many of us have our loved ones back home. We're very, very concerned. As much as we are working hard outside the country, to supplement, a lot of their needs, even to the smallest, people will call you, and sometimes it becomes too much for many diasporans, that are outside the country. 28.20% is literally gone up from 27.33%. So almost 0.87% compared to October. Again, on the year-to-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 6.73% point higher compared. What is finally bringing this inflation? Nigeria is a consuming country. We consume almost everything, but we are yet to produce what we consume. That means there's pressure on the, on the forex. The former administration has literally, made use of our, oil, crude oil. It looks like we're not making money out of the crude oil as we speak right now. We've borrowed too much, and those have not been used judiciary for proper infrastructure. During the regional government, it seems that everything was working until the regional government collapsed. And today, Nigerians are struggling because almost 60% of our youth are waking up every day, and it seems everyone have now turned to become content creator on TikTok, when TikTok itself, from those that provide these services from China, you're meant to be selling goods in there. But people say that at least whatever you say, what do you do? I'm a content creator, but we know most of them are also into so many other activities of drugs and crimes. And sometimes you could see when the NDLA picks on them, but the pressure goes on and on. I was listening to some of our media colleagues that were broadcasting over the weekend, picking up on few things that happened. We have the Adire Festival that took place in Abeokuta yesterday. Remember that we were in Abeokuta, I believe in 2019, just before the election. We interviewed this young Nigerian that was doing a lot of Adire, but there's no support. It seems that China is now taking over our own Adire when we should support these projects. And likewise, I saw another interview where a teacher gets 10,000 naira, and she said that is how much she can get with 4 children. More pressure. Many Nigerians are now also committing suicide. The question is, what is the way forward? And what is the strategic plan of the Cardoso, the CBN governor, and likewise Wale Edun, the finance minister? So Wale Edun and the Cardoso will have to stabilize, the country for many Nigerians to be able to have a better life, as the future is very, very bleak.
Well, listeners, it's Star Radio UK 11:34 the time. Samsudin says, God bless you all. God bless you too, Samsudin. And he says his quest has been going on. Every time he posts, he says Yoruba Nation now. We hope that one day we'll sit on this platform and we'll say, yes, it's been realized. But at least everybody knows that you did something about it, you contributed to it. You didn't stand up for being marginalized, or you didn't sit down to be marginalized, but you stood up for that unfairness that is going on there. Okay, listen, Star Radio UK. Let's go back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds and what is happening on the social media platform as well. Over to you, sir.
Well, it seems the game is already on for 2031. You might be saying, what? 2031? We've not even complete 2023. But politicians do not waste time because they know the game and they're preparing the game and preparing the mind. Behind me, you might not recognize him. I want to see whether Mr. Archie recognizes the, the individual to the left-hand side.
My vice president.
No, you got it wrong. That is El Rufai. When this individual turned into Agbada and, traditional outfit, you can see the smile, but it seems the Southwest turned into a very bitter one, as many people have now asked questions. How did El Rufai become the chieftains of Wobani of Ijebu? Is the first time in the history of the king's reign that someone outside the Yoruba will be given these particular, chieftaincies. What is the game behind it? Is there something that they are preparing? Or should we just say that it is nothing more than, as Jagaban was given the same title or chieftains from the northern part of the country? But as I was reading through this morning, from one of the dailies, coming out this morning, it seems that it is all about the game for 2031. And El Rufai is already ahead of it. We will see how that is going to have impact. But one thing is, what took place over the weekend is a strategy. He also had a visit to the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. He visited Minna as well. Remember that he pulled out, because he doesn't want to go through the security screening, which he was not going to be given a clearance because of some of his activities during his presence as the former governor of Kaduna State. But it seems that, the king in Yoruba land decided that it is worth giving El Rufai, the Gbobani of Yoruba land in the Ijebu Ode, as we say. So let's take you straight to some of the other news quickly.
But El Rufai, where does he come from?
He's from the northern part of the country. He's a Fulani as well. He's a Fulani man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's my case. Go on.
So we go straight to, like we continue to pray for the release, and hopefully the security will put a very quick one and get, these individuals that have now been kidnapped, and we hope, he can return back to his loved one as well. As many Nigerians continue to send money home, the Christmas is now countdown to get those food, the chicken, the rice, but also many are still telling us that they are struggling to get money out of the ATM and the bank. You're not allowed to get up to certain amount of money from the bank this morning. And the question is that if I send money home, would they be able to release that money in time for the purpose of it as well? So let's take you through one or two more. Electricity subsidy gobs almost 376 billion naira, while the consumers pay 783 billion, even though it has not given much when it comes to 24 hours electricity. Well, it seems that we probably start seeing ministers resigning, in Nigeria. You might be asking, what minister has resigned and what is the reason behind that? Well, we see ministers here that doesn't agree with the PM, and they'll probably say, we've had enough, and they will pull out of the government while the next person would have to come in. Well, it seems that, one of the minister, the labor minister, have decided to put his resignation to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that has been accepted. We're talking about the former now Minister of Labor and Employment, Simon Lalong, says that he's now, Tinubu has now accepted the resignation of the former Minister of the Labor and Employment, Simon Lalong. The presidency have just confirmed that Lalong will now proceed to the National Assembly as a senator representing Plateau South Senatorial, a seat he won as affirmed by an appeal court ruling date November 7. Lalong has resigned, but it was not at the FEC meeting itself. So you can tell that it is not that he's leaving government, he's just going back to sit in the Senate, where he will continue to represent Plateau South Senatorial.
Interesting. But what is his reason? Is it that he's not functioning well in that ministry that he won?
Well, I think, he won the seat, as you can read, as we read from that, right now, he's actually, won that seat, and he probably preferred to be a senator than be a minister.
Okay. Maybe being a senator is easy work than being
you will not be cross-checked as a senator. You sit down there and the salary comes in. Well, let's go straight to the social media where many conversation goes on as usual. We were in the space yesterday. It was a very interesting one, and it was all about the way forward, especially with the campaign for the Yoruba Nation struggle that is currently being presented to many Yorubas this morning. But as we always say, it is still a movement, and sometimes it could take a lot of dialogue, a lot of conversation. Many Yorubas want it to happen today, but some are saying that maybe we should start from again here in Europe, get the ground going very well, strong, and then get pushed into the country. While some disagree with that, says also that maybe the leaders should return back to Nigeria. A lot of people flagged on that, says that is not what taking the risk. We can't allow the leader of the movement. Some ask about where is Igboho right now. I spoke to him this morning. Because I give him a bit of security update, especially what is happening. And from what we spoke this morning, he also went to say that the insecurity is becoming quite alarming. The question then is, how do we get message? Many people believe that there still need to be much more education around this movement, because without proper reasons why the Yoruba should exit Nigeria, the politicians will play the mind game on our people, the Yorubas, and they will allow them to go back. What you're watching behind you right now, Mr. Archie, has now been, around to be able to be sold in Nigeria for those that will be able to listen directly from the radio. It's called the Yoruba Nation Radio. It's got the Bluetooth connectivity. You can charge it through the solar panel, which also has its own charging port as well. You can use the battery. You can also use it as a touch light. But most importantly, the purpose of these is that on the short wave, many people want it to be on the FM transmitter, but the question is, presently it is still on the short wave, where if you tune into the short wave, the frequency is automatically being there, so you will not need to tune anything away from that, and that automatically allow you to listen to a live transmission every Saturday and Sunday between 8 and 9 p.m. Hopefully, as things get developed, more hours will be added to that. But many Yoruba people are so excited that finally, after 2 years of the project, just like any other project, there might be hiccup. People have been accused of stealing the money for this project. But eventually, those that have now worked on that project have now said that that project must not fail. And that we say thank you so much to all those that have worked very hard. Let's now look at what is trending. Buhari is trending again. It seems that he has left the government, but he was celebrating his birthday, over the weekend, and it seems that many from the presidency, is giving the accolade. Remember that Garba Shehu is still talking again, while Buhari was trying to say that I'm 81 years old. Again, Amnesty International came out very hard on him yesterday or over the weekend, that many people were killed under his belt. Not just many people, but innocent lives that should have been protected. The question then is, at what point should we ask the government to interrogate inquiries to what led to the death of many innocent lives under the belt? I'm not sure this is going to happen under this administration, but like I said, Amnesty International have said that Buhari's government was not just the worst government. It's not even the one that, not just the one that bankrupted the country, as even the present administration is saying, but it also created more, problems when it comes to the killings. So let's take a look at it. Buhari 81st birthday. Amnesty International remind Nigerians that over 4,200 were unjustly killed by the military under former President Muhammadu Buhari. According to the Amnesty International, says that while President Goodluck Jonathan, Amnesty International said that between 2015, when Buhari took over from the former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, until when he handed over in May to President Bola Tinubu, at least 19 journalists and media practitioners were attacked, arrested, tortured, harassed, threatening, while at least 3 journalists had to go into hiding as we speak to you today. Many also have to travel out of the country, but the question again is, how do we have a system that will cross-check? As you leave the government, you must come back and answer questions just as we were able to do during the COVID inquiry that the Star Radio UK attended when we returned back, the former PM, Boris Johnson, to tell us what took place and why most of his WhatsApp was not available. It seems that Buhari is just enjoying his stay in Daura. He can't make it to Niger because Nigeria border has now been shut on him.
Well, if you attack him now, he will have Niger to help him because he said if you do attack him, you call Nigerians.
Well, we don't have relationship with Niger anymore, so he will have to stay in Daura for now, looking after his cow.
Okay. Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. That will be so live and quick. Yomi, before you go.
Well, this is what we do on the Star Radio UK. Give you all the news update between 11 to 11:45. And I'll leave you good again in the hands of Archie that will take you through the rest of the program this morning. If you're interested, in whatever we're discussing this morning, and if you have any more reasons to join the conversation, you can email the Star Radio UK team. But most importantly, remember to share and let somebody know so that you can join us again tomorrow when I say, may Nigeria not happen to you or anyone else.
Okay, listeners, that has been Mr. Yomi Koiki for you. I'm bringing you all that you need to know when it comes to Nigeria. But don't worry, tomorrow, God willing, we'll be back. And anything that is making the headlines there, I'm going to be bringing your way. Yomi, thank you. Have a lovely day, and we'll catch up later.
Mr. Fab, anybody knows tomorrow their life will not touch ground. Benny, Nigeria. Now, on the jet breakfast, bye. Moki. Happy Monday, Akwajo Grandma Abosede Rachel. Thank you so much once again to everyone. Good morning to those of us on the Twitter space. Let's see if we have. Oh yeah, we got a few people there. Okay, somebody has sent a request. Let's bring the person in. Let me just quickly accept that. So just to let them speak briefly. Good morning. Go ahead, United States. Is it United States? Let's hear from you. Hello? All right. Sims is not there. Probably is going to work. All right. I'll leave that for now. Well, you wake up and you ask questions. What is the way out for Nigerians? Mokiani Diroko, good morning. Every time the man be remix link for stop disturbing me. Tobalo sorry page you keep asking the same link every now and then. By now, you go to my follow, so you get the notification. Tobalo sorry page. We post it every now and then. So good morning once again to all our people, everyone that have joined us. You will see that we've done one program this morning where I was focused on that brother that has now been kidnapped, the juju artist. I hope he can play juju for them so that they can release him, from the Mokim, Mr. Bashir Eshegoni. Thanks for joining us. Mr. Joseph, NW, Biafra, Best Friends, Obiora, and as many people that have joined us. Mr. Monday, Abiodun, good morning as well. And those of you on the TikTok, Tokyo 778, Silver Badmos, inflation is not just a problem in Nigeria. As we deal with inflation, we're dealing with with the terrorists. Many Nigerians do not want to accept that we are dealing with terrorist government because they think that it's Bola Tinubu that is there, and that way, we should not say the way it is. It's a terrorist government, so it doesn't matter whether not Tinubu did there or not. It's a terrorist government, and we have to do whatever needs to be done, to pull it down. Whether we're going to do it peacefully, whether we're going to do it, anyhow, it's got to go down. If Nigeria doesn't go down, it will eventually take every one of us down. And me, I don't want to make Nigeria take me down. So, I don't want to make Nigeria take me down. So I'd rather take Nigeria down than make Nigeria take me down. Because the moment Nigeria take you down, you're dead. Go and ask those that Nigeria have taken down. It takes you down, and it drags you down with him. And that is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. doesn't matter what some of you say. I mean, we're used to that now. A lot of you say different things than us, but at least it's better that we say the way it is so that we can save lives. You know, the reason why everybody that wants freedom is because we want to save life now. Eh? We want to save lives. But some of you, you don't even want to save your own lives. If you save life, but a lot of you don't want to save your lives. So that is where the problem is. So, you know, that is where the problem is. So how do we solve the problem? You know, then Yoruba Nation is the answer. But our politicians, I've called you earlier, United. If you're still there, you can unmute. If otherwise, maybe you've gone out of the broadcast. I don't know. You know, okay, go ahead. I can hear you now. I'm going to mute my mic.
Koiki Media, good morning.
You're welcome, sir. Good morning.
Sorry, I won't be able to speak.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. No problem. I thought you requested. That's why I thought, you know, that's fine. We'll let you just listen. That's fine. No problem. So thank you so much for listening, and we appreciate most of you. I mean, you know, let's talk about this monster. I mean, the Biafra believe Buhari is dead. I just say dead or alive, regardless whether he's alive, he's dead. What Nigerians are expecting is that Amnesty International official says Nigeria has just happened to them. They won't listen until it happened to them. Well, we don't want it to happen to them. That's why we're doing these back to back. You know, they think it's easy. You know, sitting 3 hours. You guys listen as well. What do Nigerians want? You just want Amnesty to be writing reports. Look, all these organizations, they are good at that. They are making money as well. Oh, I didn't do this very well. I think I look good with mine. If you like this outfit, you can check out Omitaf Culture on the Instagram, and you can reach out to them, and they can make one for you. I have it. I'm going to tell you what the rest of the color. I have 3 different colors. So, and they're not cheap. I mean, they're not expensive. You know, they're not expensive. Later, your Larry, so at least, you know, it's good. Anyway, what do Nigerians really want? You're expecting United Nations to come and help us. You're expecting ECOWAS. You're expecting, I mean, some of us are waiting for European Union. European Union are 27 member states. And those 27 member states, some of them are not even, some of them, they're not even up to some of our states. If you put the, you know, the system in place. So I don't know why some of us are thinking that EU countries, that they get their own problem. They have their own problem that they are dealing with. So why should we wait for European countries to come and help us? Why should we wait for them? So I'm asking again this morning, Nigerians, what do you want? You know, you want a good governance. You don't want nepotism. All this will still be happening in Nigeria because we are not one. Shout out to you, Ogumala Biodun. Oh, you couldn't hear Archie. Yeah, I should have put the speaker up. I forgot. You know, yesterday we were running things from Abeokuta. So the speaker was up throughout. I forgot to turn it up. And I didn't even say it until now. Sorry so much about that. So, but throughout the program. So sorry. I'm just saying your message now. But that's fine. At least you can hear me. That's the problem when you're doing your own thing, you know. It's not easy. When you go to, I was at the BBC before. You know, you see all the people where they work for them. BBC have this underground studio, massive. You know, there's a Yoruba brother that works there. I remember when Segun Showunmi came in, I went there with them. When Showore was in London during the campaign for election, I was there at the BBC as well. Very, very big place. But now they fund them. So, you know, for Yoruba people now, you want your BBC Yoruba to come and tell you that Nigeria will dissolve. You know, they're not going to tell you that. Don't expect BBC Yoruba to talk about the dissolution of Nigeria. Why do we actually even want Nigeria to be dissolved? That is a question that many people are challenging us. They believe that we are one and we should remain one. So yesterday, one of our listeners, I love that on the Twitter space, says that we must explain to our people about colony. Let's just Google it and say the British colony. What does it mean? And what has been the impact, on our lives? The British colony, let's say in Africa. I mean, this is the map. I mean, forget about this map. They've changed a lot of things in the borders. What they've done is they've cooked their own different borders, which is not the original border that we used to have. They've given us what they think is good for us, and you just have to go back and to the 1884. We have to keep doing this, and even though, we've said it before, but it seems that we have to continue to say, because sometimes, some of these young people that come on here and say, oh, you stop wasting your time. There was one this morning. I didn't respond to him because I just took him off the broadcast because it was of no use. Some of them don't understand the true picture of Nigeria. So my job as a lecturer is to try as much as possible. You can see why I'm feeling these. Yoruba kingdom was one of those powerful kingdoms in the 15th century until the British colony, destroy a lot of our borders, and likewise what they call the Berlin Conference. Many people will know, the Berlin Conference. I mean, if you're conversant with history. Let's first talk about the British colony. According to, and I'm reading this now from Google, okay? From 1880, I want us to be taking note of the time frame. They say from 1880. Let me put it this way. Before that 1880, people know they leave our territory before. Before 1880, people know they live inside that territory where they can't conquer. Because what they did was they conquered those territories and they took it. Some of them, they negotiate their way, especially around the Jebu side. The British literally negotiate with the Jebus because they didn't find it very easy. With the Mau Mau in Kenya, as much as many thousands people were killed, but the Mau Mau fought for 13 years. The king was in Kenya not too long ago. He refused to apologize for accepting what their great-great-grandfathers did during the colony. So, according to what we are saying here, from 1880 up to 1900, it was not even up to 1914 that the British colony, or what we call the British Empire, decided that let us take away the Yoruba people from their real original structure. Let us take away the people known as the Biafrans, as they have their own kingdom. Let us remove that. Let us remove the one from the northern part that we called the Hausas, even though we don't even know where the Fulani came from, because the Fulani doesn't have any territory. So what we are saying is that the territorial part of the Southwest has been in existence before 1880. People have been living there. This Oriolokun that you're looking at in front of my t-shirt that I'm on today, there is this sculpture. It's called a sculpture. I'm going to do a full program on that, but it's not going to be today. This is still the Metropolitan Police report on this sculpture. I've made a query under the Freedom of Information, and they've returned back to me what I need to know. Why are they keeping this sculpture? This sculpture alone that you guys are watching in front of apart from those on the the MixLR and the Twitter space, because I can't see it. This particular sculpture, which Tankpeni Ori Olokun, this was designed by our great-great-great-grandparents before the colonial time. It's more than 1,000 years old. But do you know that one of those sculptures today is being held by the police in UK because somebody bought it from Belgium for as little as less than 200 euro. So many Yoruba people must start to listen to what we are saying. Forget about it. All these politicians, they know exactly my kind of discussion, but the grassroots, the main cocoa grassroots, and these are why some of us, forget about this, like Shion Kuti says, let us fight Africanism. No, let us first take away our land and we can talk about Africanism or whatever they talk about. Anyway, he's having a good time. He enjoyed himself. His father sacrificed for them. So what we are doing right now is we are also preparing to sacrifice for the next generation. How long it's going to take will depend on how many people are ready to accept. Thank you so much for the rose, Mr. Danny Brown. It will depend on how many people literally want us to pull out of what is known as Nigeria. The more Nigeria remains as an entity block, the more you are making politicians to become richer, and you will not be able to control them. You can't control politicians because they have so much money. In this country, in UK, politicians do not have power. It is me, where they beg. Election is coming up 2025 in UK. Within this next year now, there will be campaign. Why do you think that the Tory party is trying to stop the boat? We don't want people coming into this country through illegal means. And if you come in, we will send you to Rwanda, even though I do not agree with that. Because people that are fleeing for whatever reason should not be sent to Rwanda. I don't trust Rwanda government. It's just the same as Africa. But the question is, the same politicians in Nigeria that you think that you can pull out from making good road, infrastructure, services, welfare, medical. The same politicians are running out of Nigeria for medical. Akeredolu is not in Nigeria right now. He's receiving treatment with the German special equipment because he doesn't want to die. But it doesn't matter if it is another Yoruba man that is in Ondo State. As long as he dies and Akeredolu survives, what makes Akeredolu special against this average Yoruba man in Ondo State? Why did Akeredolu not fix the problem in Ondo State so that we can have good hospital? I mean, imagine Rishi Sunak. Let me tell you Rishi Sunak, where he was born. Let me type Rishi Sunak. Where was he born? The current Prime Minister of UK, Efarabale, hear this very well. Good morning as you're joining us, or good afternoon right now, because it's now 3 minutes past 12 noon. My name is Olami Koiki. You're watching a live transmission. It's a self-determination platform that discuss and talk about everything self-determination. Shout out to Mr. Idris Abimbola. Shout out to those of you, Oduduwa has arrived, correct. Thank you so much to those of you that have joined us. And remember to share. Our platform has been shadow banned. That means that most of my broadcasts, they're not allowing it to travel. Yoruba Nation, Lafe, good evening to you and welcome. Oduagbewa. Rishi Sunak was born on the 12th of May, 1980. How many of you are 1980? Just say yes. How many people were born in the 1980s on this platform right now? Toba be any 1980. Just give me a signal. I just want to see. How many of you? Must be. Shout out to you, my brother. So this program, Laura, on top kidnap ni. Come on, notification or send us a mail. Okay, Mr. Olu Japi on the TikTok says, yes, I was born in 1980. Don't be shy. When we ask questions, just respond. How many people? I might be missing another platform, so let me check. Because when we go Did I go live on Facebook on our other platform? I don't think I did. YouTube, so where's the Facebook on? Facebook, just one Facebook line operate. So how many people? What they kidnap àwọn Yorùbá kan àwọn musician níbo ni wọ́n wà kẹ́ tó fi ṣe headline tó ti fi breaking news látàná wọ́n ti kidnap ọmọ Yorùbá lọ sórí page mi kó lọ wẹ́n tó kidnap wọ́n ti kidnap olórin kan tó ń bọ̀ látàbújá tó ń padà lọ sí Kogi wọ́n ti kidnap ẹ̀. He was kidnapped. You see, this why news is very delayed in Nigeria. Because I picked up the news as far as 5 a.m. this morning. Mukin Agbomi, triple DRS. Good afternoon, and those of you in the working lunch. I heard about it, but I did have the details. The details is already on the Punch newspaper, Otiwani Vanguard. Everybody at Tigbe now. It's a program in Lorilla Roy. So, Columba, your Kuro Nubitoa. Somebody say Rishi Sunak is the baby. Can you hear that? So it seems that only one person was born in 1980. Okay, let's just move on. Now, let me start my second platform because I realized that I didn't go live on that platform earlier so that I'm not losing my little followers to cool. Our platform has been, literally been affected, since we started this Yoruba Nation. And it's because truth is very difficult. They don't want you to listen to the truth. That is why you have to help us to get even there's a church. I'm not going to mention the name of the church, but it operates every Monday to Friday. I hear every time, share the link. Share the link. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if church is saying we should share the link of their broadcast so that, God can help us, why are you not sharing these broadcasts? Maybe because I don't say it all the time. I'm sure some of you know the name of the church I'm talking about. Every Monday to Friday, say share the link. Share the link. So you too share this link, share this platform, call somebody else, let them come and listen to us, and I'll remind myself to be telling you that so that you can help us to make this platform to continue to grow. So I'm going to go back to Rishi Sunak one more time. Rishi Sunak was born in 1980. But Omokekere don't control Great Britain, United Kingdom today. So, but that is not the point I wanted to touch on. Motiria easy dollar. Kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ẹ. Ṣé ìjuwọlé ni? Mo ti ké láàárọ̀ igan. Mo ti ọba ti dé ní ti ọmọ ní ìjuwọlé ni. Tó bá ti ní kí n juwọlé, èmi kan ti gbọ́wọ́lé báyìí. Wọ́n àpọ̀ mọ̀ Jẹ̀bú. A fẹ́ràn owó. Owó dẹ̀ la fi ń ṣe nǹkan. Àkàn náà ẹni tó bá fẹ́ràn owó kó lọ máa wá pépà káàkiri ńgbà yẹn. Owó nìyàn fi ń ṣe gbogbo nǹkan. We sit down now, we have expenses to pay, and some say, don't give them money. Why do you think China's television is operating? If they don't have money, they'll collapse. China's television, from the news coming from their page, which I'm going to give you now, they are still the 16th, when it comes to China's television wins the TV station of the year for the 16th time. Do you know how much they're using to operate China's television? People come here and say that we need money. So support us all the time. It is important. It helps us. It helps you. And we can do much as well. So if you have, it's voluntary. If you don't have, it's a different thing. But if you do have it, don't hesitate to support the platform. Even if you have to do it continuously. Some of you are doing it monthly. Some of you are doing it once and one-off. But whatever you do, we love you. We appreciate you, for that purpose. So I want to go back again to Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak was born in 1980. May. Thank you, Mr. Danny, for the rose. Thank you so much. We love you. We appreciate you, sir. Let's go back to Rishi Sunak. But that is not where I'm going. Do you even know that if you're born in America, how many people can confirm this with me, please? They've already from birth. I'm not talking about those of us we just jump out, because those one we jump out, you be second generation, migrant. I'm talking about a full-born American citizen. I've been confirmed and told that your fingerprint is not just what they take your leg fingerprint. How many people can confirm that with me? Because my brother told me that that is what happened in America. Back in Saudi Yoruba, if you're born in America, United States of America, they take your foot fingerprint. Foot, they say. You know, so you can tell that they're not joking. So you cannot come and say you are not who you say you are. Muki Pastor Adetokunbo. Happy Monday, sir. So let's come back to the conversation. Why do you think that Rishi Sunak, which his parent as at that time came from East Africa, but he was born Indo-parent of Indian Punjabi descent. Rishi Sunak was born in Southampton General Hospital. Today, thank you so much, Miss B, for the diamond as well. We love you. We appreciate everyone. And we say thank you so much for those of you that are our great contributor. If you want to give stickers as well, you can go on our backup channel where you'll be able to do so. I mean, and when people say, oh, you are doing Yoruba Nation for because of monetization, you might as well say to Channels Television that they should remove their monetization from the, you know, their YouTube channel. Because I don't know why people always link, you know, because some of us are doing Yoruba Nation. Say, I want you Yoruba Nation because of monetization. What do you mean by that? Tell Channels Television to remove their own now. Do you know how much Channels is making on their monetization, even though they are making money from the politicians and all that? So please, let us, you know, get the fact out. So let's go back to the British colony. From 1800 to 1900, Britain gained control over or occupied what is now known as Egypt, Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, Gambia, Sierra Leone, northwestern Somalia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Nigeria, Ghana, and Malawi. Let's break down. Bear with us, you know, sometimes when I kick in some bit of Yoruba in this broadcast is because I want my people to get the message right. In Tonjeko Yewanikwe, láàrin 1880 títí di 1900, mo rí ẹ̀mbẹ̀ easy, ó ti jù sínú bẹ̀, kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ẹ. Thanks so much, my brother. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa. Britain gained control, but they've not told us how they gained the control. Which way? How? Was it through violence? Was it that they went to the people and say, I beg, we go take your territory and we go use them for a certain period. And when we finish using them, we will give it back to you. But if they've even done what they've done, because some of you will cry when you go to the Slave Museum. I've had the privilege to visit it in Liverpool. Not Liverpool in the one where they London, Liverpool outside London. You will cry if you visit the Slave Museum. I was not allowed to record, but you can take still picture. You will cry if you see some of the videos that they are playing inside there, how these people change our life. And that life is what we are trying to uphold and turn around. And some Nigerians are saying, no, we are Nigerians. How can you be in Nigeria more than Yoruba? You should be a Yoruba person. You should be an Hausa person. You should, thank you so much, Amakulex. You should be a Biafran. Even Fulani was never part of us because they never had a territory. What they are doing now is they are trying to gain a territorial ground known as the southwest part of Nigeria, which is Yoruba land, and also the east part of Nigeria. People in the north have lost their territory. Today, half of the governors, not all of them, they are all Fulanese. They've installed every part of the north where they control the resources. So even the average Hausa man have lost it now. They don't. I mean, you will not even differentiate who is an Hausa anymore, because what we are witnessing right now in the northern part of Nigeria today are the Fulanese that have taken control of that region. If I don't know anyone off air, I know, and I heard Ganjude, the now APC chairman, said, and I quote, that he is a Fulani man. El Rufai is a Fulani man. So The question is, what was the game plan? Why did Britain decided that after they've gained control of this territory, let's count it again. Britain controlled Egypt. Britain controlled Sudan. Go and look at Sudan today, even though they now have South Sudan and the other one. Britain controlled Kenya. Britain controlled Uganda. Please, sir, which state is Fulani land in Nigeria? They don't have a state. That's it, Miss Denny Brown. Fulani don't have it. They don't have no, not even a, well, they don't even have a land, talk about state. But what they've done now, craftily, they've been able to start taking land. You know, it's like me now, I live in this country. Imagine if I start saying in the next few years, my children, I tell them, say, now your papa get that land. I mean, even if you buy a house in UK, you don't own the land. The land belongs to the king. But in Yoruba territory today, in the region of the southeast, they've now started taking our land. Even some are saying that the Igbos are trying to take our land. And I got to be factual about that. People are already complaining. And that is why there's this hatred that have kicked in, because some believe that the Igbos are flooding into the southwest of Yoruba land. And we can argue that, because there is no way you can stop them as long as we remain inside this one block Nigeria. If we have a Yoruba land now, or a Yoruba government, it is our government that would then decide through immigration and through the partnership that we would have when the country breaks away between us and the Biafrans. But when some of you are coming to say it is entirely up to the Yoruba politician now to start thinking that, okay, if you say you don't want the Igbo to take your land, then we must start talking about our entity and our own government called the Yoruba government. Tinubu is not a Yoruba government. Tinubu is just one other politician, corrupt politician. I can say that because Tinubu is corrupt. We saw all the shenanigans he took out of Lagos State, but he's been craftily able to make money out of the politics. Tinubu was as rich, as poor as puppet on his return back from England to Nigeria in 1998. Those that know him very well are still living in this country and they are still alive. And he was never meant to be the candidate. Funshaw Williams was who they were going to use. Today, the question is, does Bola Tinubu have any hand in the death of Funshaw Williams? Does he know anything about the death? Because there was a big issue between Funshaw Williams and Bola Tinubu, but we'll come to that some other time. So I just want us to understand that when we say that we don't want the Igbos in Yoruba territory, this is what the British did to us. The British should have left us the way they met us in the 1880. If they've left us the way we are, if there've not been any Berlin Conference, we will still take control of what is called Benin Republic today. It will be under our belt. We will still have Togo under our belt, and I don't know if we will have Ghana as well. But whatever it is, even the Oyibo people, because my mom doesn't like me to call them white, so she always says, don't use that word. And I love my mom too much. So the Oyibo people were very, very crafty people. What they did was, after Britain was able to gain control, they were all scrambling for Africa. They were fighting back to back. They were killing themselves. And they now say, no. All this our killing is not good for us. Let us not kill ourselves now. We are the same people. Why should we kill ourselves because we don't see Congo? We don't look. Belgium literally sucked the whole of Congo. The king just apologized. These are the kind of education that is not being taught today in that contraction you call Nigeria, that you want me now. If I didn't know before, that's fine. Maybe for the first 20 years of my life, I was not available to be told what I'm reading to you right now. But at 40 plus now, from what I know, I will fight to the last day to make sure that the Yoruba people get the hell out of Nigeria by making sure that you are well educated and sound enough to know that the Onyibo people, tell you respect, I don't give a toss. I don't respect them here. Because there's so much racism on me in this country. I've lived in this country with them for 25 good years. It took me 15 years for the same people that colonized us, for the same people that took control of my territory to tell me that but Yoruba people today, because you want to protect the interests of Nigeria. Definitely there's something wrong with your medulla oblongata. Because if nothing is wrong with your medulla oblongata, this is a police report from the London Metropolitan Police. I've shown you more. This is the Metropolitan Police saying to me, Mr. Koiki, we are so sorry. We would love to share the information about your Yoruba sculpture, which is 1,000 years old, but there are some certain things that we cannot do for you. This was given to me under Freedom of Information. So, Iwoto Wanile, Tambasoro, I wonder what you are thinking. I hope everything is working as we plan. For a few minutes, please. I'll call back in a minute. My party program, anyone. But if anything, you can just send a message through the email. Email ni come leka because both phones patapata no finish broadcast. So you can just send an email quickly and give me an update on that. So kí ni mo try láti fàyọ níbẹ̀? Ẹ̀yin Yorùbá lẹ wá ń ṣe alátakò èmi tèmi ti gbé pẹ̀lú àwọn òyìnbó yìí. Èmi àti wọn jọ ń gbé ni tó bá wọ toilet pẹ̀lú òyìnbó wà á sá jáde níbẹ̀ because wọ́n jẹjẹkújẹ ju bó ṣe dá lọ. But because ẹ̀yin rí wọn as angel, I'm sorry, they are not angel. I'm not saying that they are not good people among them, but their forefathers destroy who we are. And if we don't pull out now, the next generation will continue to destroy us. So you are expecting Rishi Sunak, a 40, how old is he now? Rishi Sunak, a 40 whatever years old. They are 43. I'm on 1970, I'm on 1980. You are now expecting Rishi Sunak to make a decision for us when we all can make that decision today. But we cannot make that decision if we still have large proportion of Yoruba people that are saying that we want Nigeria because for them, that is what they were sold to in 1960. Some of them doesn't even understand that there was something before 1960. We were even in a regional government up to before 1960. All that is not the issue. The issue is why did they decide that British gain control? Egypt, Sudan, Odimeji, Kenya, Odimeta, Uganda, Odimeri, South Africa, Odimaru, wọ́n fìyà jẹ ṣẹ́gi àwọn South Africa. Gambia, Odimefa, Sierra Leone, Odimeje, Northwest Somalia, Odimejo, Zimbabwe, Odimesan, Zambia, Odimewa, Botswana, Odi 11, Nigeria, Odimejila, Ghana, Odi 13, Malawi, Odi 14. This was how powerful Britain Empire was, that they were able to hold on to 14, I mean, you can imagine they were able to hold on to 14 territorial ground, but they were not able to hold on to it if we do not have our own king and some of our people that compromised as at that era. And that is the same problem we are facing today. The same opportunity to found Babanlawa Nijono long. Somebody says, Mr. Egbomi Olatunji Officer, Botswana is one of the best countries in Africa. Thank you so much for that update. Odua has arrived, say Yoruba route to the birth of Congo. So today now, because Oyibo people don't they wear suit, you go and listen to Femi Falana. You think Femi Falana doesn't know what I'm talking about? These ones are enjoying part of Nigeria. They are looking for case of Mohbad, case of this. Hey, I'm a freedom activist. That won't allow you. Everyone is just chopping as they can chop out of. I can also be chopping out of Nigeria. I have my friend there. Go on his page. He's a public figure. Kiloruko again, no. Almost Sanwo-Olu, family Sanwo-Olu. We were bought here in the UK. He's under the leader. He's working with Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. I saw him, Jamin. Go and type Jamin on Google and see how he's having a great time in Lagos today. He cares less whether Yoruba Nation comes or not. He's making his own money out of being diaspora, whatever that they give him position. I would have been part of that as well. But we are saying that not all of us will go and do that. The ones doing that now, some of them have no choice. But what we are saying is that we must start talking about the unity of the Yoruba people to pull out of Nigeria. But some Yorubas are the same people that are saying, no. We're not going to give you that unity that you're looking for. We will stick to Nigeria. That means you are sticking to what the British control. Because for the fact that Tebashin Sokwe fed Nigeria, you are still saying that whatever happened in 1880, when they gained the control, we should keep it. And these are the reasons why we are saying it is not about fighting. It's about understanding. And we cannot be sitting on that understanding for too long. Mama explain, Mama say this, because some people, their ears are blocked off. They're not going to listen to anything. That is why some will pull like the Biafrans are doing presently. You might not like their style of campaign, but that is what they feel is the only way the message will be heard. And it is just a matter of when everything will go down. Let's go back now quickly to Berlin Conference. Remember I told you that Britain, while he was controlling this side, there were also some other ones that wanted to take part of it too, but they were fighting each other. Fighting. I mean, is it not funny? I mean, even is it not funny that these people were fighting for what belongs to me and you? Good afternoon, Prince Adi. I mean, they are literally fighting for what doesn't belong to them. So they have to now call a conference. Do you know that when they called the conference, they didn't involve me and you? I mean, during our forefathers at the time, they didn't involve us. When they held the Berlin Conference, they don't call anybody from Africa to come sit down and say, this Africa where we want break, where we want divide the territory, this is how we're going to do it. Do you know that they never got us involved? And my people today now, they are so excited. They are so happy, especially some of you. We never see Oyibo people before. Oyibo Pepe, Luku Pepe. Àwọn Ìgbò lè wá pọ́n lé bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Àwọn Ìgbò tó ti ba ọba yé àwọn bàbá ńlá wa jẹ́. Àwọn Ìgbò yẹn làwa wá ń pọ́n lé. À ń pọ́n wọn lé bí ṣúgà tí wọ́n nì. If you know what they did to our great-great-grandfathers, you would never forgive, not this generation of their children, but the previous generation, you will never forgive them. You will never. Yeah, they will never want history to be taught in school. Imagine if if truly and truly our politicians are serious, this is the kind of message we should be taking to every school, especially from GS1 to SS3. It should be like a syllabus, so that somebody like us will go in and I'll do 10, 30, 1 hour lecture, and we will start again the following week. I will give assignment to people. Now they'll tell you, go and do assignment. Who founded River Niger? Mungo Park. Now we found out that it's a lie. Mungo Park never founded anything called River Niger. If Yoruba wants to pull out of Nigeria, the elected Yoruba politicians in the national parliament should take the motion. The question is, they don't want to take the motion. I love that angle of our politician must be the one to push the drive. I want Onifala Gogoro, what's his name called? Amosun, the former governor. We have 2 former governors presently in the Senate representing us from Ijebu or Ogun State. We have Amosun, we have Benga Daniel, we have Yayi. Can you literally see that these men, let's even cut a these our fathers, even the Gumaku or the Bimilomo, do you think that they can push the motion to pull out of Nigeria? And if they cannot, do you think that people like us will be given opportunity, which some of what people suggested, vote for Sowore? Because one more about vote for Sowore, it will eventually pull down Nigeria. So this, our politicians were, yes, this is the best way to do it. Scottish people now, they are preparing, no, not Scottish, Alba Party, they are preparing 12 candidates ready to act into Mukiama Kulex to be part of the Scottish Parliament come election 2025. The agenda will be the Alba Party is an independent party that wants the right of the Scottish people. So when they have 12 candidates and they can get into the Parliament, what do you think they will do? They will be putting the motion, just like my uncle there, our professor, is saying. It's a great idea, but can our Yoruba politicians be serious to be able to do it by making sure that they put the motion inside the House of Assembly, and likewise, okay, even if the one from Abuja cannot do it, what about the one from the state level? Why are they not doing it? They are all eating out of Nigeria. Okay, let's even agree that they didn't want to do it. Bola Tinubu was there. Do we wait until Bola Tinubu leave power and they will do it? And you think the North will then allow such to happen? Wow. So let me put it this way. Let me rephrase it. Mukimba Babatunde, Daddy, Ekabosa. Now, let's put it this way. Do you think that Bola Tinubu finished 8 years? And then our House of Assembly will then say, now that Tinubu has finished his tenure, it will be in the interest of everyone to break. It will be great, it will be good, but do you think that the Northerners will accept that? Yoruba Nation Lafeti say, to put some Yoruba Nation to join them in Parliament is a bad idea, it can't work. They will not even give you the slot. So where is there? What there? And this is the reason why the only option is to keep the campaign going very strong. Enlighten, education. It's hard. It's like you're trying to crack a wall that doesn't want to break. Our people now is like me and you and those of us that have already understood. Not that some of them don't understand what we are saying, but some of them are probably just like, hey, you can't be in UK and be talking like this. Come back home. You know, all these little things that they talk about. But some of them know at the back of their heart that Bilu law omoko wate. I saw a video where boys have great time in Lagos State, all that is good. We can still have the same lifestyle. Because what I see right now is that many of our Yoruba youths, our boys, our girls, a lot of you are struggling today. Pull out. Look, the only thing is we might not accept certain things anymore in terms of the threat to life of people. You won't be able to do that because we will have a system in place. If you do that, you will be picked up. The case of Mohbad, as an example, should have been dealt with before he died, if it was a good system. Sometimes the system also slipped. Victoria Cambley, I think I got the name right. She was killed somewhere in one of the, the London borough. She died because the system failed her. The system failed her and she died. I just want to remember Victoria Climby. She died. Victoria Climby was an 8-year-old Ivorian girl who was tortured and murdered by her great auntie and her great auntie boyfriend. Her death led into public inquiry. I don't want to be straining my eyes too much because I'm watching it from my massive 65-inch screen there. You'll be surprised to know that the Northerners will like to pull out as well. If the worst come to worst, they would like Nigeria to go back to the regional government. This is a fact. Well, that is if the Fulani amongst them wants that. Because when we talk about the North is already divided right now. We don't have the structure of the North as we used to have it anymore. What we have right now is we have the Fulanis that are taking control of what is called the northern part of Nigeria today. And I'm sure everybody agrees to that. Babami, granddad, Mr. Babatunde Olatunjini, they are cowards. They cannot do it. And that is our politicians. Our politicians are not going to put the motion for the dissolution of Nigeria or even the motion to talk about referendum. They're not going to do it. And what I was saying earlier was that now that if Tinubu finish his tenure, maximum 8 years, politicians were majadi. This is even the best time now because Tinubu is there right now. Tinubu cannot take them out of the government. I mean, I'm sure you know what I mean. Because we know that Tinubu has a huge influence, whether we like it or not, on the people on our politicians. It doesn't matter from even up to Ibadan or your state. Tinubu has influence. Because that is why Seyi Makinde did not support Atiku. He actually supported Tinubu. So he gave all their vote on the PDP to Tinubu. So what I'm saying now is that Tinubu is not the governor, the president. It will be in the interest of the Yoruba politician to now start asking for the same thing, our professor is talking about. The motion for referendum, the motion to dissolve Nigeria, the motion to pull down Nigeria from the current state of where it is. Are they going to be truthful to be able to do that? Mr. Adeyemo Ojosama say, our Yoruba politicians will never move that type of motion that Nigeria should break because of their selfish interest. By the time they began to break fast from Fulani herdsmen, Oriwon Makwe, Oduduwa has arrived, say, there is so much money to share at the House of Assembly in Abuja, and it is turn by turn. Emilokan. My brother there, Scar says, Scar's gold. We need to learn from the Fulani, Hausa, and Israel Palestinian regarding our land. Mukibaba Nuruddin. So what we are saying again and again is that let's leave that now. Let's go back. That problem you see. Let's go one step back again. The Berlin Conference. That is where they now share Africa. Oh yeah, work by late. So that Kamama Barawaja. Britain, the only one I want to read it to do that. Our chief in Nigeria, I first side the only gold, only order, only good. At the Ghana, I only gold. So they cut it for them. Belgium, I want to Monto and Congo. So much resources in Congo. We want Congo. So what they did in 1884, we must now revisit it again. But àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ló ń ṣe alátakò wa báyìí nísìn. Àwọn gangan ló ń sọ fún wa nísìn pé no, Koiki, no, we don't want that. We still want to be called Nigerians. When truly and truly we should be called the Yoruba people, the Oduduwa Republic, with our own passport, with our own true identity, and we can have cordial relationship with the rest of those our previous neighbors. I'm talking about those that we've lived together in the last 63 years of what is called Nigeria. It can be done without any fight. It can be done if our politicians are honest and loyal to us. Do you think that they are loyal and honest to us? I don't think so. And I believe Bola Tinubu is just one out of those many politicians that would not do what some of you are thinking. It is far beyond economy first. We need to first preserve and defend our identity. All this economic issue, security, welfare, LSP2, those ones are the minor. You saw the Igbo woman, a professor in London. The Biafra people will call her back. She will design, template that can be used for the next 500 years. They will just be adding to it and topping it up. The same thing will happen to the Yorubas. The development will come in. But some of you, Mukiba Bawadekweju, you want development in Nigeria. Okay. Oh, yes, definitely. It is the responsibility of the government to give you development. But we have gone far past development. We are already pushing. I know some of you might say, let's take it step by step. What about if we get conquered? Because the whole picture is that Tinubu is not going to be here for another 80 years. He'll be dead, man. It's a fact. I give him 80 years. He'll be dead. He'll be 160 years old. I don't think he will even be able to stand up. So why then don't we make a push now before it is late? And moreover, we pray for Tinubu for a good life. I pray for him because if Tinubu died today, Shetima becomes the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So why then must we slow down when we can pull it now? Some say, Tinubu has 4 years. Who told you that? If the military take over the power, and if they arrest Tinubu inside his house and they put a gun on his head and say, oh yeah, we saw what happened in Niger. Are you thinking like I'm thinking? Oh, Nigeria cannot go. We cannot have. If it happens, all they have to do is just arrest the president inside the house, like they did with Niger. You might say it's not going to happen. If we wake up tomorrow and it happened, Moki Grandma Comfort Ologunja Ekabo Soretowa. The possibility is very slim. If Bororo will let go of the location 419, they know how to play their game, which has already started in Ijebu-Ode. Like I said, all this is something that should be in that one deliberate maybe by listening. This should be what our politicians should be deliberating, and we will just be doing the analysis on it. But they are not interested. They want to give you and me, a development. Buki Iyawa Wuyi Adewuyi. They want to give us development. Oh, yes, we need development, but we are talking about the future of the Yoruba people in Nigeria today. What future do you want? You want to become Nigerian. Okay, maybe you should follow me on this Berlin conference. The Berlin conference took place in 1884/1885. It is what I call, also known as the Congo Conference. I believe it was held in Germany. Iretemi, good afternoon, sir. Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome to the program. We're 20 minutes away to the end of the broadcast, hopefully. Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, also known as the Congo Conference of West Africa Conference. They met November 15, 1884, and after the adjournment concluded on 26th of February, 1885. Waris, good afternoon, sir. With the signature of the General Act regulating the European colonialization and the trade in Africa during the new imperialism period. The conference was organized by Otto von Bismarck, the first Chancellor of Germany, at the request of King Leopold II. The General Act of Berlin can be seen as the formalization of the scramble for Africa. Many people do not know this, and many people knows, but they are very biased because some of them are better off than you, and some of them care less as long as they can live in a society where nothing works. The scramble for Africa, as used by the historians, describe the invasion, division, colonialization of the most of Africa by 7 Western European powers. And one made the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of them took chunk of Africa under their belt, and they were running it, and then they do whatever they wanted to do with it until date, even till date. I'll read that again. The scramble for Africa, as used by historians, describes during that era invasion, division. Why are we divided today? We don't like the Igbos. We don't like the Hausas. Even the South Africa don't like Nigerians. We don't like each other. so much hatred along the line in African country. Tell somebody you are from Nigeria, when you go to Kenya, they'll say, oh, you are the one that come and take all our women. The way they think. So the division is not just within Nigeria, it also goes as far as African countries. Go to Cote d'Ivoire, go to other African countries and see how hatred among each one of us. This is what the Berlin Conference did. And that is why we are saying that the divide and rule system is still being played today. While we are saying that we don't want to work with certain group of people, in the House of Assembly in Abuja, they care less whether you are Igbo, whether you are Middle Belt, whether you are Yoruba, Ishekiri, they all eat and chop together. Yawa Comfort, Ologunja, Timothy Toto, Darkoni. Yoruba has given in to be the ball being kicked up and down. What a big shame with a question mark. Mr. Deyemo said, Brother Koiki, believe me, a time is coming that some of our Yoruba politicians will be the one that will be looking and begging our God-sent message, CSI, that they are ready to back him up. Mukidade Kolawole Amzat, and the rest of you, I'll end the broadcast in 15 minutes. The scramble for Africa. It was a very terrible time. And it is still terrible because now, as many of us that have japa in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, some of you have just arrived in the 2000s. Some still want to arrive, but we are still not giving a lot of opportunity compared to some of those European countries. Some of the European countries that get access to these European countries, you wonder how come Yoruba people, the Biafran people, the Hausa people cannot have the same access. It's because they've seen us as due to the reason of our economic wahala that they created. And when you look at all the terrorists going on in Nigeria and Africa, it is all man-made, well created for a purpose. Oh, you don't fight them, oh, just pray to God, but these guys are using AK-49. Is that not why T.Y. Danjuma say, if you all wait, everyone will die? When Dr. Malafi Obadia was saying that when they finished with the rural areas, everybody was not even concentrating. Because during the rural areas, the feed coming out from there was not as the feed that we're hearing. I mean, we've given this Yoruba man publicity that he didn't pay for. I mean, I came out, I spent 1 hour talking about it. Do you know how many people will talk about it today? It's because it is now in the urban area. I'm talking about the guy that was kidnapped, from Abuja to Kogi State yesterday. We've given him free publicity. It's because it is now having impact in the urban city. So, I'm just going to talk about the background quickly. Prior to the conference, European diplomats approached African rulers, and the French leaders had already invaded some part of Lagos in the same manner as they had in the Western Hemisphere by establishing a connection to the local trade network. In the early 1800s, the European demand for ivory, which was then often used in the production of luxury goods, led many European merchants into the interior market of Africa. European spheres of power and influence were limited to the coastal of Africa. At this time, as Europeans had only established trading posts protected by gunboats. Mr. Dekunle Ezekiel, welcome, sir. So each time they were doing those trading posts, they had a lot of gunboats. You dare not go next to them. Call it good afternoon, sir. In 1876, King Leopold II of Belgium, who had founded and controlled the International African Association, the same year invited Henry Morton Stanley to join him in researching and civilizing the continent. In 1878, the International Congo Society was also formed with more economic goals, but still closely related to the former society. Leopard. Leopard secretly brought off the foreign investors in the Congo society, which was turned into imperialistic goals, with the African society serving primarily as a philanthropic front. You see what they've been doing? Did you hear that bit? They can explain it for you. So what they've been doing is that, good morning, good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. There's always a front for them. So some of us see these great, beautiful, philanthropies. Alex Mano, shout out to you. We see them, but they are working on behalf of these same, Europeans. Most of the time, you will see this beautiful presentation, this beautiful, whatever they call themselves, whether it's even cross, I've even Amnesty International and the rest of them like that. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter Pan. You will see all these great, institutions being set up across Africa. Oh, we will give you, we will bring water there. We would. Sometimes they are fronting for the people. That is why we are saying that if this was happening as far back as 1880, as far back as 1885, it is still happening today. As far back as 1878, it is still happening today. From 1878 to 1885, Stanley returned to Congo not as a reporter, but as a Leopard agent with the secret mission to organize what would become known as the Congo Free State soon after the closure of the Berlin Conference in August 1885. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? In 1887 to 1885, a guy was sent back to Congo. While he was going there prior, they would think that he's a reporter, but he's no longer a reporter. He has now become an agent for King Leopold. And our people still fall the trap. Many of the politicians, including Tinubu, are all agents, including Obasanjo. They are all agents working against us. And that is why Obasanjo say we must all make that push ourselves. Nobody is coming to rescue anybody. It is our responsibility to do exactly what we are doing now, to continue to highlight the problems. If you think that you're waiting for one big organization to come and tell you that your right should be given to you by Tinubu, Tinubu at the back is not told to give you your right. It is us that needs to tell Tinubu that our right will be respected under the international law, and we will do whatever needs to be done to make sure that that right is not trampled on by the government. Forget about those that are not talking about this now. Some of them are not having any impact or enjoying the government, but they care less because as far as they're concerned, some of them are just jealous. Now, why is it this set of people doing it now? You think that Afenifere have the time to be talking like this? They've talked about restructure for more than 30 years. They failed to deliver it to us. Why not let us try something different from the Afenifere mode of restructure? I pray that by the time Tinubu completes his tenure, many people will cry because the expectation that you want from Tinubu, you might eventually not get it, and that will be a biggest disaster. But we are not going to sit back and say because of that. That is the reason why I say we must make as much push as we get into 2024 by God's grace. If I have the time again, I'll come back out. If otherwise, we will say a very good afternoon to you all. My name is Olami Koike. I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast as much as I have. It's like almost 2 hours. It will make it 3 hours program already today. We did 1 hour, 10 minutes. All these hours that we are burning is because we want to be free from the dungeon of what the British created in 1914 amalgamation. Thank you so much, Mr. Akim Ayodele. Thank you so much, Akin Games, Ogumola, and the rest of you on the MixLR. To the Koiki Media backup team, thank you so much. To all those on the Twitter space, we appreciate your time this afternoon. And as I leave you, we pray for the brother that was kidnapped. Just as I should remind you that those in the NYSC that were kidnapped on the way to Sokoto in September are still there. So maybe, I don't know, this brother might be spending Christmas with the terrorists. So let's remember to pray for him and his family as quickly as possible. Hopefully, something will touch the heart of these monster terrorists and they will just release them. Hopefully, you can sing to them, they will dance, and they will be released and pay some, good amount of money. Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Today has been the 18th, the 12th, 2023, coming up to 12:55. I love to lock the time and the date because years down there, people will come back and watch all these videos, and at least they can make it out what happened, what we did, wrong, right, to give them the freedom that we are fighting for. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye for now.